What's poppin', y'all? It's your man Cloudboy Bales, and I'm here with another special edition of Wisco Sports. Um, so obviously, as you can see with today's video, I'm going to be making my predictions for who wins the Big Ten tournament. Obviously, it's exciting because we all know that next week starts March Madness. This Sunday may not just be the Grammys, but it also is, as many of you know, Selection Sunday. So it's going to be exciting. Very exciting. I don't know what to expect, but I'm definitely ready for whatever comes. So that's that. Obviously, Big Ten Conference is literally the best conference because the amount of teams that are just doing and dominating right now is just insane. Michigan obviously is regarded as one of the best teams this year. Iowa is like everyone knows, Iowa is supposed to be really good. Illinois is supposed to be really good. Purdue has like the youngest team and is going to be good for years, and they have a huge advantage. Wisconsin's always great. Ohio State's always great. And then lots of teams that weren't successful this year, like Michigan State, who usually is, or Rutgers, or Indiana. It's interesting, but it's exciting. But obviously today I'm going to be making my predictions for what I think is really going to happen. So, anyways, let's just start off with the two Wednesday matchups, Minnesota and Northwestern. This one starts off. Minnesota actually was ranked at the start of the season. They were undefeated. They actually went 8-0, or they really were doing well. And then they started playing good teams, and they just couldn't do anything. It was just pretty much Minnesota just kind of fell apart. Northwestern, same thing. They actually were ranked, and they were doing really well, and then all of a sudden they just collapsed once they started playing teams that really were good. So these two teams really were just. I think obviously whoever is better, in my opinion, is going to win this game. I know that Northwestern has the better record, is Big Ten wise, but I feel like Minnesota has been playing a little better, especially that they have Marcus Carr, who is, I think, top 5 in points for Big Ten leaders. He's been having an outstanding season. Northwestern's, has these guys that can really do things, but I don't really see them as a threat. So, to be honest, I'm going to actually take Minnesota here, because Minnesota just seems to really have what they got. So, that's that. Next game, Nebraska versus Penn State. Nebraska, every single year, they always seem to not really do well in the Big Ten when it comes to basketball. They just haven't had a good team. They never do. I don't know. Penn State, obviously they lost Lamar Stevens last year, and he was a huge deal, and they really didn't have a guy that could replace him. Penn State was just kind of one of those teams that was good, but they just haven't been. Penn State really hasn't really had a good basketball team in a while. Nebraska is just terrible. This should be Penn State's win, but I think we all remember what Nebraska did 2 years ago, and they tried to go on a run, and they did really well, and yeah, we all remember that, but I'm definitely going to pick Penn State, only because they have a lot to deal with. So, look, going on to Thursday, Michigan State versus Maryland. Michigan State was actually ranked in the top 5 at the beginning of the year because of how well they were, and then once things started going along in their conference, they just struggled. All their players struggled. Nothing was going right. I can't blame Izzo. I can't blame anything. I don't know what it was. I just simply don't know. Maryland, on the other hand, very good team, in my opinion. They're very underrated. That's why they're the 8th seed. They have some guys from that team that they had a really good team last year. A lot of people forgot about that, but they lost so many people from that team, like Jalen Smith and Trumbull and stuff. But it's there's got to be people who can really step up and replace Maryland. When they're hot, they can play on fire. But for Michigan State, they have struggled so much. I don't know what to pick here, and I don't know who to pick here. But from what I know, I feel like experience is going to be a huge part, which is why I'm going to pick Michigan State, only because of that. But If Maryland ends up winning, I'm not going to be surprised at all because, if Morcell goes off, or something from Maryland, I think that's going to be a huge deal, and that's what that would make Maryland win. But if Michigan State plays with more confidence, they'll win. Then Ohio State will be facing, as I said, Minnesota. Ohio State, obviously, I think this one should just be an easy win for Ohio State. Ohio State's just a dominant force this year, and they actually have a really great team. Do I think they'll last in March Madness? I don't know, but they should be able to win this game. Yeah, I know, there's really nothing else I can say about that. I mean, Ohio State's really a great team. Everyone thought they were going to get the double bye, but Purdue did, so, that's a big shocker. Next up, Indiana, or should I say Trace Jackson Davis's team, versus Ron Harper Jr. and Rutgers. So, Rutgers always seemed to really have the home record, and they did great. When it comes to a tournament, I don't see them doing well. Indiana, Trace Jackson Davis is going to be an NBA star. We all know that. We all see that. Obviously, he's the only guy on that team that really does anything. Indiana just doesn't really seem to get shot. Really isn't a good three-point shooting team. Rutgers, I mean, they can play good when they're on fire, but in the second half of the season, they were just completely forgotten. Indiana, in my opinion, has just struggled as well, but they've just been struggling so much. It's hard to watch Indiana play right now. It's just, to be completely honest. With that said, I'm going to pick Rutgers only because the small ball type ideal with Rutgers, I think, will defeat Indiana. I think Trace Jackson Davis will go for like 20-something points or something, but Rutgers should be able to win this one and play Illinois on Friday. And then next up we have Penn State facing Wisconsin. Penn State split Wisconsin. They beat them once, and then Wisconsin beat them again. Wisconsin just seemed to really struggle against Penn State this year, and really Wisconsin just seemed to really struggle when it comes to rebounding. Down the stretch, Wisconsin has had really close games, and they've really come down to the wire, but they just haven't been able to finish. That's an issue that Wisconsin, I think, has had, because I think a lot of the teams they've faced have big men that just really outdo their two guys, Potter and Reavers. So, Wisconsin will win this one only because I think they want the chance to play against Iowa after what we saw the other day. I mean, a couple days ago, Wisconsin had a 4-point lead with like 2 minutes left, and they just blew it because Iowa just completely went fastball on them, and we couldn't do anything. That's just their fault. But reffing, and then some reffing, but I don't care. Wisconsin, I want Wisconsin to play Iowa one more time. I really want to see that happen. So now we are to our final 8 teams, where we get into the final part, really, that really makes things sense. Friday, we got Michigan State versus Michigan. Michigan, in my opinion, is probably one of the best teams we've seen in a very long time. Only 2 losses. This team just seemingly knew what they're doing. They have veterans, Isaiah Livers and Eli Brooks from that team 2 years ago. That was really good. And then, of course, the Hunter Dickinson, the 7'1" center freshman. It's a great player. And then Franz Wagner, the younger brother of Matisse Wagner, has just been outstanding. This is a team that has so much veteran presence and just the young center. And it's just, this team just knows how to win games. If they don't win against Michigan State again after destroying them the first 2 times, you just should be embarrassed. Michigan will easily demolish this win. Next up, Purdue and Ohio State. Purdue was a big sleeper all year. They weren't ranked until the very end. This is a team that has probably some of the youngest talent. They have so many freshmen. They have so many people. I mean, yeah, Trayvon Williams is probably a veteran, because he's a junior. But everyone else surrounding him is just so young. And this is a team that's going to have a huge future. Ohio State, they know how to compete. They know how to play. I'm going to take Ohio State over Purdue. I know Purdue upset them last time, but I think Ohio State is going to get the revenge from that, and I think they're going to move on and play Michigan on Saturday. Next up, Illinois facing Rutgers. Illinois is likely if Michigan goes all the way to the end and it ends up being Illinois, which, well, I'll get to that later. Illinois is everyone was expecting Illinois to be a little bit slump a little after Ayo Damasumu, the star player, went out with an injury to the face, a broken nose. Now he's back, I heard, and he's wearing a mask and blah blah blah, like one of those face mask things. Illinois is just outstanding. Ayo Damasumu, Kobe Cockburn. They have a team that just is. I don't know if their coaching is the greatest, but Illinois is just outstanding. When they work as a team, they can't be stopped. It's just serious. Damasumu is one heck of a player. As I said, I've known him, seeing him for years. I've watched his game. He's just unbelievable. Seriously. They'll be facing Rutgers. I think this should just be an easy win for Illinois. We saw them already destroy Rutgers once. They'll do it again. There's not even any chance of mine. So then we finally have Wisconsin facing Iowa. Finally, we get to see this again. We just saw this once. Wisconsin almost beat Iowa to finish the season. Wisconsin has struggled when it really comes to rebounds because we saw against Michigan, they had a big lead, and then they kind of watched it go away because our guys couldn't rebound. Same thing happened to Purdue. Same thing happened to Iowa. Same thing happened to Illinois. Games went away because we could not, or Wisconsin could not play the defense that they needed to close out. I feel like Wisconsin as a team really can upset. Like, this is the team, if you were to win the Big Ten tournament, this team is the biggest sleeper out of them all. I think I can speak on that. But do I believe? Do I know what they have, what it takes? I don't know. Can they beat Iowa again? It's a big possibility. For what I believe, I don't know. I can't really say. I want to stick with my Badgers. I want to. But a big key into Wisconsin coming back and making that a game the other day was because of Joe Wiescamp's injury. I don't know if that's going to be a big impact, but he's there. He changes the game completely. With that being said, Iowa will win. I hate to do this. Okay, I hate to do it. This one's going to be the closest game out of them all and probably the best game out of them all. But I will say Iowa has to win. If they have to live up to their hype, they have to win. If Wisconsin ends up winning, then you have to really be motivated to just do everything else. That's just how it is. All right, next up we have Michigan taking up against Ohio State. I don't really want to go over this one that much because Michigan defeated Ohio State already and just kind of obliterated any team that they really played against. I'm easily going to take Michigan. I know I can't really say anything against it, but Michigan is going to the Final Four. I already have them going to the Final Four, in my opinion. I always put them in the Final Four when it comes to March Madness. So I'm taking Michigan beating Ohio State. Then Illinois versus Iowa. Iowa has so much hype up to them, Luka Garza, and then Illinois got this great team too. But I feel like the hype of Iowa is too much, and I really want it to be Illinois that wins. So I'm going to actually take Illinois, even though they have a higher sketch ranking and a record than Iowa. They're still considered the underdogs in this scenario, so I'm still going to take Illinois with a technical upset of what you call it. So then your final two games will be Illinois and Michigan. Now, last time we saw those two teams play, Illinois handed Michigan a terrible loss and an embarrassing loss. I think obviously Michigan knows, as a team, they can't let that happen again. Illinois is playing way better right now than Michigan. I'll be completely honest. From what I originally said, Michigan, I think, is a team to beat. I think this is a Final Four team. Everyone knows it. Illinois, another team that I think is Final Four ready as well. With that being said, I believe that they can do this again. With that, I'm actually going to pick Illinois winning the whole thing. So that's that. Illinois is your Big Ten men's basketball tournament champion. Illinois will defeat Michigan again, I think. It just, usually when you see a team like that happen, it's just hard for them to come back and make another appearance and win like that. It's just, Illinois, I think, really has it. That's my opinion. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed my video. I'm really excited for this tournament to come away. Obviously, more of a content is coming your way once March Madness hits and once the brackets come out. Obviously, my bracket video will come out. We all know that. But anyways, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts. It's going to be an exciting tournament. Can't wait for what happens, and can't wait for who makes the tournament. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a very exciting tournament that we finally have March Madness back. So I'm just thankful we have it. So anyways, I'm Clout Boy Bales. Stay tuned for more content later, and stay safe, and of course, be smart. Get the vaccine. It's out. Do your part. We got to be out there sometime soon. And as always, I'm just, normally I say go Pack Go because I do Packers stuff, but I'm just going to say I love basketball. I mean, just why else? Anyways, all right. Take care.